What's up?
Hey, not too much.
Alright, do you have any replays or someone to play against or anything like that?
I don't really want to play against, actually. I have... I'm trying to think of games I lost that were good games.
Well, while you think, we could start off with, do you have any general questions about anything? Been struggling with anything?
I think. Versus Protoss sometimes. Like later stuff. If I don't kill them at before they take their third and use their third, kind of, then I have nothing really to deal with big Protoss armies.
Okay, well basically, at least for that, you just need Broodlords. Straight up. That's the only answer. That's really all I can give you is Broodlords, man.
Broodlords?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're completely necessary. Once they get to 3 base and start getting that big death ball army, once they get enough Colossus, you either need to have no ground forces and just 15 Corruptors, but then you'll just die to the ground. So you pretty much just need Broodlord Corruptor and then Roach Infestor with it.
Yeah. That's like Stefano Kiwikaki on Tal'Darim, that big long game.
Yup, that's literally all you can do, or else you just lose. That's about all there is to it.
Alright, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right now what I've been doing is just building 3 base and not really saturating the third at all, and just building a million roaches and killing them. That's really an app dependa if that works or not.
Yeah. I mean, I would say no matter what, you should have an aim to be getting Broodlords anywhere between 18 and 20 minutes every single time that you face Protoss.
Oh really? That's way faster than I used to get them.
Yep, no matter what. Just because, at least from what I deal with, they'll take their third, let's say it's Tal'Darim, they'll take their third around 10 minutes, 12 minutes latest usually. So by the time that when the 18 minutes, usually I'll throw in an attack at their third around that time, just to kind of get rid of some of their units, maybe deny the third, do some damage, whatever, and then get the Broodlords up, and usually that's the Colossus count is still decently low, and it's just, I don't know, it's a pretty good timing for it, somewhere between 18 and 20 minutes. Any later, and it's basically, he's got his full death ball going, and he's coming at your base already. Usually, for me at least, around 22 minutes is when that happens.
Yeah. Also, Muta versus Muta in the ZVZ. Real bad at that. How do you play Muta versus Muta?
I've been discussing this with people, and literally all you could do is get Muta armor upgrades and just keep making mutas. That's all you could do. You can't stop. You can't transition out of it. If they go mutas too, if they transition out, they just lose because you have more mutas, and if you transition out, you lose because they have more mutas. There's really nothing you could do once it gets to that point. You just gotta keep going. You can also obviously you'll have extra minerals, so you can make lings and try to do ling counterattacks, stuff like that. But for the most part, you just gotta keep making mutas and just hope that he transitions out of it so you can stay out of it. Because I know I'm not a big fan of ZVZ when muta packs get that big.
I like it for me. I don't like it when the other guy does it.
Yeah.
What I try to do is I try to get super armored ultras and try to kill them that way. While I'm going muta, that kind of works. Usually they give up on mutas, I guess.
If they give up on mutas, then you could switch into whatever tech tree you want. It's just you basically just have to try to match them muta for muta. And then if you're lower on mutas than he is, then you pretty much have to get a couple spores or whatever in your bases, which you probably want to do anyways. But
if you're lower on mutas, should you try to get out of it completely? If you're never going to have more mutas than him, should you leave mutas and just try something else?
I would say that really depends on, because usually if you're dedicating yourself, you're planning, I'm going a ton of mutas this game. You should never really be that far behind. It should be anything like 2, 3 max behind, or else you're just kind of starting off your muta build wrong. Like you're not going them at the right timing, or you're taking your gases too late.
Alright.
And then you have to be really careful with not throwing them around. Like, don't engage unless you know you're going to win the battle with the muta. If it's like muta on muta, like you just can't unless you're absolutely positive you'll come out on top. You cannot engage with them.
Yeah. I really engage.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's definitely a tricky thing. It's becoming a lot more popular mutas on ladder. No.
Yeah. There's lots of mutas.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's really all you could do, though. Unless you already have, like, a build planned out where you're not opening mutas. It's really the only thing you do. But if you're both go mutas, you just have to keep doing it until he switches out of it.
Alright. That makes sense.
And usually by then, you could probably just keep going mutas and just win the game, unless he goes, like, Hydra Infestor or something weird to go with it, which is really bad as it is.
Yeah, Mass Hydralisk is not a very good Zerg thing.
No, because all you gotta do is get Banelings then, and then you just win. Alright, so got any replays here that we could look over?
We got... trying to get games that trying to find ones I lost that were... maybe this one. Let's see. This looks... yeah, this looks like a game that I did okay in, but lost. Let me just find it.
Yeah, and then just send it to me over Skype.
Plateau.
리플레이가 저장되었습니다.
Okay, it should be done downloading here in a second. Alright, go ahead and load it up. And then just pause it right when it starts so we could get queued up together. I'm not too sure on this map. I already downvoted it.
It's hard to attack into the natural with big armies.
Yeah, it's also really good for Protoss or Terran Cheese. Like on that, like how who's at the bottom? How he spawned at like the bottom position on that left side of the expansion. You could like put 2 bunkers there, and it's completely walled off, or like 2 pylons, then 2 cannons, and then you're in range of the hatchery, and you can't get to it unless you go all the way around. It's just dumb.
Yeah, that actually looks pretty ridiculous. I'll play it for a bit just because I'm tired of ladder maps generally.
Yeah, I got rid of this one, Zelnaga and Metalopolis. Alright.
Right. I just have Zelnaga thumbs down right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually just a really bad map. Alright, let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so what was ZVZ, what was your like mindset going into the game? What was your plan on what you were going to do?
I was going to go 14-14 and kind of see what he's doing. If he's just letting me be, go mutas. Pretty sure that's what I was going to do.
Okay. Is that usually like your typical ZVZ for what you do?
Yeah, that's generally what I go.
Okay. It's a pretty solid opening. That's generally what I try to do too. I usually open up like Ling Baneling, and then if I don't need the Banelings, I'll throw it on a Roach Warren. Like I just do Banelings defensively. And I'll throw it on a Roach Warren if he's not doing Banelings, and then I just kind of like drone up and just play defensively, throw on some spines, stuff like that. Alright, now, this first Overlord you sent out, was that a planned, like, did you know that there was no base in the upper right, or, like, was that a planned, like, taking that path, and what's your logic behind that?
I think I'm trying to head to the back of his base, like just north of it,
Mm-hmm.
so I can throw it in later to scout.
Alright, what you should probably do with your first Overlord in ZVZ, you should always head, like, towards their main/natural area, like somewhere in between. You always just send that second Overlord that you got to where your first one is going. Because it's just going to be sitting there anyways for a longer amount of time. You're not going to be sacrificing it right away as it is. So it's better to know, like, be able to see the front of his base earlier to see if he's sending out lings to your base or doing roach aggression, whatever. Or, like, see if he has an expansion already up, so you know if he's going to be all-inning you off one base or whatever.
That makes more sense. That's what I do against Terran or something. So that's probably.
It's just one of those like habit things that you do against other races. You do it against them all. But against Zerg, you don't have to worry at all as long as you're not really too near the creep. Once the queens come out, I mean, you don't have to worry until later on in the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so going to go expand. He's already got one pretty much finished. Alright. See, this is what I hate. Like, I feel like... Oh, one ripped by the drone. But okay, I feel like opening hatch first in ZVZ is really risky, but like, the more that I watch it happen, it's really not that risky.
6 pool beats it, just flat out, doesn't it?
Well, yeah. 6 pull or 10 pull just beats it if you're going aggression with it. But like, if you do 14-14, there's like really no way to punish it. Because that's how I always open, and I get hatch first against a lot. And like, I always try to just make a bunch of speedlings and go in and try to attack, like do some Zerg and Baneling aggression. And like, by then, everyone always throws down a spine at the front, and then they just get an early Baneling now, so there's nothing I can do anyways. It's just nothing I could do. But that's really depending on no early pool. I would still say 14-14 is a lot safer, obviously. So that's probably what I'm going to stick with anyways.
Holding a 6 pool where we bring spine crawlers with 14-14, it seems really hard for me to do. Is it just that I'm not microing it right?
Yeah, it's really just need to like pull basically like every single one of your drones. Even if you lose that mining time, you figure you're like double his drone count almost. So as long as you like don't lose all your drones to that, like micro them decently enough so you don't just like, if one starts to get low, move it back or whatever so it doesn't die. It's just, and then make sure you always have like 4 of them put onto the spine that's being made. I mean, it's still a tricky thing to deal with. Especially, it's really hard if they, like, bring all of their drones with it. That's pretty rough. But surely it's not the hardest thing in the world once you get used to it. It's just, like, working on like, unit control a little bit more. You'll be able to hold it easier. Okay. So, he's got one guy on gas. He's a little bit ahead in drones, as he should be. Alright, everything's so good, it's looking pretty good. Minus the drone just sitting at your base. I would say that if you're going mutas, you should probably be starting your lair, like, already. If you're going quick mutas, which you almost have to go if you're going mutas in ZVZ. Because you've got enough saturation at your main, you've definitely got enough of your natural right now to at least start it, make a few spines, and just start droning up like crazy.
Yeah, there's no reason you shouldn't have started it by now.
Because you've already got 228 gas and 1,000 minerals. You've got plenty of money to do it. Alright, that's good though, just droning. He's taking a quick third. Now, one thing I would have liked to see more was like running around with Lings a little bit more around his front to try to keep, because you really have no vision of these Lings coming up the middle of the map right now. Like if you would have had Overlord placement where like it was kind of, you were over like those trees and the two things in the middle of the map, like the two plateau things or whatever the hell they're called, two like high ground areas you can't get on. If you would have had Overlords there, you could see better, like, cause having that one off to like the lower left, that's not really going to help you at all. You're not going to see anything. You just have a Link sitting on the Zelnaga instead, and then you've got way more coverage. You could have that Overlord over to the right, and you would see the attack path coming out of his main and natural. Alright, your lair's done. Baneling Nest coming and muted. Okay, and the Spire's coming. Now he's starting to go just mass roaches, which kind of sucks for you. It's also why it's nice to send in Lings to like his expansion, just kind of sacrifice a few at a time into his front. You can see his unit composition in the front, like how many roaches he has, which you're doing right now, which is good actually. And then like try to get to the mineral line if you can to see what his saturation looks like. Like, if you could see, wow, he has so many less drones than me, it means that he's going to be putting on aggression very soon.
I saw the roaches and I threw down, I think, three extra
Yep,
spines.
throwing down spines is good. Yeah, now he's coming out with a really big push. Well, maybe not his turnaround. I don't know. Another thing that you could definitely do better to work on is your injects. Like, you're already like almost 3 behind on your main. It's only not even 12 minutes into the game yet. That's like a huge thing. Just think if you had, let's see, if there's 4 total injects missing between both your queens, that's 16 extra larvae. That could be 16 more drones. It could be, you know, whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
And you've got a good way of monitoring. I mean, because you've got all your queens on separate control groups, what you could do is just, like, tap on your queen, check out what the energy's at, and then if you're like, oh, I'm at about the energy where I could be using an inject, go inject. Alright, now I see you've got mutas out. Now with mutas, you kind of have like 2 decisions that you need to make. It's either, are you going to become really aggressive with them and try to go like, you know, do economic damage, what have you, or are you just going to try to take complete map control and like kill off overlords, deny scouting from him, take an extra base and use those mutas and links that you have to just move around the map and not let him go anywhere? Like you could deny expansions, you know, stuff like that. I mean, you could do both eventually, but that's like kind of your first decision that you have to make. Am I going straight to his base, or am I going to go just get complete map control? Usually what I'll go with is just complete map control, and I'll just take like, I'm usually on 3 I usually have a 3rd starting when my Spire starts, and then I'll take a 4th when my mutas get out. But yeah, this is a scary attack right here.
I couldn't figure out why wasn't watching the attack, just watching my mutas in his base. I couldn't figure out why I left his base. And yeah, look at those roaches.
That's a lot of roaches. That's one of the harder things to deal with when you go mass muta, and that's why you need to have like 6 to 8 spines, like a ton. I think you had like 3 or 4 at your front.
Yeah, that's
like
4.
You need like a million spines up there. And that's also where good overlord position would help. You didn't see that attack come the entire way up the lane. If you'd have had 3 overlords going down the middle of the map instead, you would have seen those roaches coming. You could have pulled your mutas back earlier, and this attack would have done like 0 damage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes lots of sense.
Okay, so yeah, the 2 biggest things I could see, or the few biggest things I could see about this game so far, is like getting that lair earlier when you had a bunch of money stocked up, Having more spines at the front when you're going mutas, having better overlord placement going down, and injecting with your queens. Those are like the big, like glaring, easy fix things that are sticking out right now. Injecting can be difficult. It's more like if you just focus on it a lot. Oh god, that's a lot of hydras. If you just focus on it a lot for a little while, then it'll just come naturally, and you're just gonna start hitting perfect injects all the time.
Yeah, I don't think I have enough production to make enough Zerglings to make Banelings to kill these hydras.
Yeah, you should have also retaken that natural by now. You should have taken it like right away after it died. Because you have 3.5k minerals saved up, and you're not really doing anything with it. Also, you could be injecting that hatch that's in your main. Your queen has 100 energy inside your main, and it's just sitting there by your main layer only. It's all just like little things at this point that will make a difference. And also not throwing away mutas into hydras right there. Because yeah, if you've got the right composition to deal with that, actually, like Zergling, Baneling, Muta against that, as long as you run all your Lings and Banelings past the Roaches and get a good surround on the Hydras and just kill them all with the Banelings, then you just have Mutas left to deal with all the Roaches, and it's just going to destroy them. It's like that's definitely the right build to go against what he's going. Like Roach Hydra gets destroyed by Mutaling Baneling. It's just now that first attack did so much damage because you didn't have the scouting information, you lost your natural, you had no production left. And then it all just kind of snowballed from there. But from what I see, that's literally the only problems with that game. Was that a little bit late on the lair, behind on the injects, and not enough good overlord placement. That's really the only glaring mistakes. I wouldn't worry so much about counterattacks and stuff at this point, because that's really I don't think those are the most important thing to worry about until you start getting into really high diamond and masters. Then counterattacking and all that starts to matter a lot. Because if you don't do that, then you pretty much just lose the game anytime they attack. So you have to just try to delay to get out units. But you did a good job at not overproducing units and actually making drones. Your drone count was actually ahead of his for a while. You were keeping up. You weren't just sitting on 20 workers making a bunch of units and not doing anything with them. You were actually being good about that. So I have to say, are you still in the game right now?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the end of the game here, and your vision on the map is 2 overlords that are just in the lower left-hand corner of the map that literally aren't scouting anything except for the one would see the edge of creep if you took the gold.
Yeah, I'm really bad at overlord scouting. Scouting in general is probably my worst at things.
Yeah, that's something that, you got overlords, got to get good placements, especially in ZVZ where, you're able to because they don't have any anti-air for so long. And even if they do get roach or mutas or hydras, you could see them coming and you could remake overlords, and getting overlord speed is really good to get in ZVZ, so you can keep those overlords out there longer. So then, as soon as you see the mutas and hydras come out and start killing the first one, you can just pull back all your overlords that you can see that will easily be sniped.
For sure.
So I would say, whenever you're on a map playing ZVZ, look for good attack positioning ways to go. Let's say for Zelnaga, for instance, you could have one outside as natural, where that little hole is, how it makes the fork type of thing.
Yeah.
Outside that, you could have one there. You could have both Zelnagas with Lings. You could have one on do what Tasis' secret hallway is.
Yeah.
You could have one there. You could have one in front of your natural. One on each side of the giant cavern in the middle. You could have one at his fourth, at his third, at your fourth, at your third. Just kind of like getting all the expansions like located, all the attack paths located, and then you have so much more time to react as soon as he moves out of his base.
Yeah, that makes lots of sense.
Mm-hmm. And like as far as injecting goes, is just kind of making sure that like when you're moving around the map or whatever, just to like tap on your queen and check where its energy's at, and then like when you inject actually, just kind of like keep tabs where energy's at. So, I mean obviously if you get over like 5 energy or something, the method becomes a little bit obsolete because your injects are going to be off then. Because you'll be like, oh, I'm at 25 now. Oh shit, I still have time left going on the bar. So you just kind of got to remember-ish, like where when you injected what energy it was at.
Yeah.
But, I mean, those are really the two only problems. I mean, you were macroing up well with what you had. You're spending your larva pretty well. You're droning enough. Just those few little things. Alright. Do you want to look at like any other matchups or?
I gotta get another game that's a little. The lost pretty bad. I want to see if you can help me look it up better.
Okay.
I might have just been micro mistakes, but I think I did the right thing build order wise.
Okay.
리플레이가 저장되었습니다.
Alright, I'm loading that up now. Alright, let me know when you're ready.
Okay.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Where? Oh shit, what did I do? Alright, what time are you at?
10, 11, 15.
Alright. Okay, we should be good now. Alright. So, ZVT, what's your normal opening? What's your mid-game, late game? What are your plans normally?
House first, Mutilating Bane, and then if I don't kill him with that, or he just leaves the game, I go Broodlord Infestor.
Okay.
Thing.
Yep, very good, very standard.
This is a pretty easy matchup for me most times, I think.
Yeah.
I think if it goes late, there's usually nothing we can do.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of how ZVT is until like you get up into the really high leagues. Like I'm just now starting to struggle against Terrans because their micro just gets so much better and their build orders are just so much tighter that it gets hard to deal with. But yeah, it's definitely Mutilating Baneling is extremely strong. Even like against mech, mutas are ridiculously good even against Thors, as long as you magic box. Okay, so looks like he's doing very standard opening. Let's see if he throws down a gas here. Oh well, doesn't matter. Alright, do you just keep that Overlord, that second Overlord? Do you just have it sit? Yep, okay. I like that with your second Overlord, leaving it at your natural, because then, you know, you can see for bunkers coming, or any type of thing like that.
You have to. You feel dumb when you have a bunker finished. And
yep. Now, right here, your Overlord's in his main, and you're still flying. You should, right when it's coming to his base, you should start watching it, and look for, like, the mining from his workers to be going on, so you see where his base is, and then just, like, instantly pull back. Because then, if he doesn't scout for your base right away, it gives you a little bit of extra time, so he doesn't know where you are. And it also, like, keeps your Overlord safe from any kind of Marine coming out. Now, let's see what you see here. Right.
I think I just see the orbital.
Yeah, you see another barracks coming in. I went with your drone scout.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I saw another barracks coming in. That's different. Different than, like, at least a reactor Hellion opening, which is so popular right now. I'm guessing he's either doing, 3 barracks pressure or 3 barracks expand. I'm going to guess on the length of the game, 3 barracks pressure. 4 barracks. Oh god, is he going to do the fucking 6 racks or 5 racks, whatever it is? Because this strategy's dumb if that's what he's doing. I don't know, we'll find out. I will hold my tongue and just watch. Alright, good. Not getting supply blocked. So you got the overlord come in. Sending up your first 4 lings. That's another good thing. I would say so far so good with what you're doing. Now what you should have done was left 1 ling at the tower, sent the other 3 up to his base, and started poking at the front of his base to see if you could see anything at the front. Because then you could see, oh, he's got a reactor in a factory there. Reactor Hellions are coming. Or, oh, he's still got his barracks there. Maybe you could see some of the Marines there, you know. Oh, God. This kid's an asshole.
And then I see it with my 4 lings. Then I cancel speed. Build a Baneling Nest.
That's the wrong decision. I would have kept...
Is it?
Your Baneling Nest would already been too late for that. It wouldn't be done in time. You should have taken all... You should have taken all 500 minerals right here and built spines at your front. And just kept making lings and kept the speed coming. That's literally the only thing you could have possibly done to save yourself right here. Otherwise, you would have just needed to have a Baneling Nest earlier, which, if you would have scouted his front and not seen a Reactor Hellion, I would have said you should throw down a Baneling Nest anyways, just in case something like this is coming. Like, throw on like a Baneling Nest and an Evo chamber, just to be safe. Because that's really the only thing you could do against that. This is just a complete, obviously, like, cheesy all-in.
Yeah.
Where really all you could do is either have mass spines, and really even that you just like need banelings. At least earlier, because now these banelings need to be like targeted down in time if he's not, being an idiot about it.
So just poke up more faster.
Yeah, get up there and scout it out more.
He had his Marines sitting there, right?
Yeah, for a while, and then he eventually pulls them back. But either way, if you go up there and don't see anything at all, you just have to expect, alright, he's either doing a 1 Rax expand, which is completely unlikely because he's hiding all of his Marines, or he's like doing some kind of Banshee play or a really big Marine timing push, like a big Marine kind of play with a bunch of barracks. So you kind of have to just hide it, or you gotta just move back, throw down a Baneling Nest and an Evo in case Banshees are coming, take that Overlord that's above his base and sack that in. Like, right at like 5.5 minutes or so. Because if you just, let's see what's going on at like 5.5 minutes. You just sending your Overlord at 5.5 minutes.
I would have seen no gas.
You would have seen no gas. You would have seen all the SCVs get pulled right there, and then you would have said, shit, this isn't good. That's basically about it. But I would say if you saw nothing as front, if you were poking up earlier, you could have even gone in at like 5 minutes with your Overlord. Because it would look very shady. Like if you poked up right now at the 5-minute mark, you would see absolutely nothing at his front. You wouldn't see Marines. You wouldn't see anything. You would see that barracks and the other barracks that's a little bit further back, and that's all that would be in your sight range. So I would think, alright, it's probably a big barracks play coming in. Since he's hiding his units, I should go sack in this Overlord right now and try to sniff out what's going on. And then as soon as that Overlord got in there, you could have thrown down a Baneling Nest, and you would have been safe then, because your Baneling Nest would have finished when he was maybe halfway across the map, and then you would have time to morph Banelings, so by the time that you got to your base, your Banelings would be finishing up, and then you'd still have all those lings, instead of having to throw them away trying to kill the units early.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's literally the only thing you can do is just think to yourself, I see no units at his front. He's hiding them. He's got to be doing something cheesy, and just throw down those tech structures to be safe. Because yeah, it sucks having to throw away all that money earlier if nothing happens. But in that case, it's better to be safe than to just die to a Marine SCV all in.
All right.
Yeah,
find another game.
That's really the only thing you could have done against that. And the position that you're in, scouting late, the only thing you could have done was make a bunch of spines at your front, and then try to just engage with your lings and spines at the same time. Yeah, the really hard one to hold off is like the six racks. That's pretty rough. Because somehow as Terran with mules, you go up to like only 20 workers and be able to produce 6 Marines constantly. It's dumb. Those mules are pretty good.
Yeah, it sucks that their macro mechanic is mules, and that just if you miss a mule, you can just launch 2 mules, and if you miss a larva inject, you can't do 2 larva injects.
Nope, or you could just, scan, which is an amazing feature. Like, oh, shit, there's like GTs in my base. Oh, well, good thing I was bad and had like 5 scans stored up. But I mean, the same could be said about, like, I have lost so many games because I went into harass with my mutas and ZBZ, and the kid was just so bad at injecting, he was able to throw down, like, 4 transfuses between 2 queens, and, like, they wouldn't lose their spores or their queens, and, like, I ended up doing no damage, and I just wasted all this money into mutas for no economic damage, and just got way behind. Like, learn how to just inject better, and I would be able to beat you. But since you can't, I lose. Oh, also, when you see Forge Fast expand, when a Protoss does Forge Fast expand, what's your reaction? What does your opening become?
Take a third, and then Burrow Roach movement.
Okay,
attack.
When do you take this third? Like, what supply count, let's say?
Oh, I don't look at supply count very much for third. Really as early as possible. I'll have 2 queens, and then I'll make a third.
Okay, because usually, like, you should pretty much be doing it as soon as you've got that FFE. You should be throwing it down at like 30 supply, no matter what.
Right.
Which is basically like right when your natural will be finishing is when you should be throwing down your third.
What about a tolerate? Do you throw the third at not at your natural third base?
Nope,
but
I
at
would
your...
throw it at a 4th. Depending on where he is, like, let's say that my 4th is moving towards his base, you gotta go to the other one. Like, you can't be building.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
I always expand away when I take my early 4th. So early third.
Yeah, because you can't waste time making lanes. That's just a waste. You have to, like, literally just go pure drones for a while, and then keep your first, like, few lanes at the front of his base, so you could see if, like, any zealots are coming out for pressure, or, like, keep the Zelnagas if you can, so you could see if he's doing any kind of early zealot pressure, which is a bitch to deal with. Just
how do you deal with warp prisms, like a zealot warping in your main, and then coming at the front, then at your main again?
That's just kind of just multitasking. You have to make sure that you have overlords like placed around your base so you can see the drop coming or the warp prism coming, and then as soon as you see it, just try to like get enough units to clean it up. Not all of your units, just like enough. So like if you have roaches, like 3 roaches and like maybe a handful of lings, and then your queen targeting the warp prism, and then all the rest of your units at your front to try to defend. Because pretty much like if you're having trouble multitasking to like defend the drop or whatever, they're having trouble multitasking doing the drop and attacking your front at the same time. So they're going to be watching only one front, whereas you are also. So you just have to make sure that you have enough to where you could kill off his units without having to watch it or whatever.
Yeah. trying to think of other things here. When Protoss throws a pylon down, when they FFC and throw a pylon down behind your narrow line, at your natural, where your hatchery is building, how seriously do you have to take that? Because most times
pretty seriously.
You have to?
Yeah.
So you have to pull 4 drones? And
yeah.
Usually I kill the probe because they're bad?
Yeah, but you have to take it pretty seriously, because if they get 1 cannon down, that completely denies the expansion.
Alright.
And if they do get that down, and, like, you didn't see it right away, because, like, I know, like, how I open up is I go, in every ZVP, I open 12 pool, and then I go up to 15 supply, make an overlord, and then I get 4 lings and a queen, and then I expand at 19. So I don't even send an overlord to my natural. I send my first 2 out going to bases, and then my first 4 lings are the only thing that scouts. So, like, if I see that he already has a cannon there, I'll just take the far away third as my natural, and then just either, usually I'll just all in them then, because I'm pissed off at them, so I'm going to do something cheesy back to them. But you can just wait a little bit, and then get some units, and then just kill it. Because usually they'll only do, like, 1 cannon, not a ton. And if they do a ton, they're bad, and you should just go all in them and kill them, because you've wasted way too much money on cannons.
Usually if I get a couple cannons built on my natural, I'll throw a hatchery in their base.
Yeah.
But sometimes people scout it more often than I like, but that doesn't work.
Yeah, mine's kind of rough, because, like, I don't actually drone scout in ZVP. I wait till my first 4 lings are out, since I go in early pool. So, like, I don't get a drone in the base to do a hatch in his base. But, I mean, whatever. That's just how I play it.
I hatch first Protoss, which is, you should definitely lose.
Yeah, that's way too risky, man. I would suggest stopping that personally and doing something a little bit safer, even if it's a gasless expand with lings, because if they could just get that 3 pylon block and you automatically lose the game.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you don't lose.
Not automatically.
But you're forced into an all-in type of situation. For the most part. Like, if it's like Tal'Darim or like a map with you have a ramp and they just put 3 pylons there and you can't get out of your base, you're basically forced to go quick layer with a Nidus Swarm or something that's like really cheesy.
Yeah. Cancel. Yeah. I've won twice like that, but it's hard.
Yeah, because even if they're good, even if you cancel your hatch and go to expand at like a third or something, they'll just follow you and then they'll
follow you and
cannon it up anyways. Yeah, so you pretty much just have to.
Yeah.
If it works, but like every time I've ever tried to do a hatch first against Protoss, I've gotten cannon rushed or pylon blocked every single time, so I just don't do it. This build's a lot safer, and like it's actually on Team Liquid, it's like Nesty ZVP build, and it's pretty damn safe against like even like 7 gates, against Stargate openings on Fort. It's safe against every single Fort Fast expand opening. That's about what I'd say. And you end up with like 60 drones at 9 minutes into the game.
Does 12 pool?
Yep. Here, I'm actually gonna send you the link really quick, just in case you look over. If you like it, you try it. If you don't, whatever.
Cause I know hatch first is bad and I shouldn't do it, but I keep doing it because it works most times. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna lose a couple games.
I started doing this and it works really well. I used to like lose almost every single ZBZ, and now I'm actually at like a winning record against them since I started doing this. When I used to be at like 40% or something bad.
I'm trying to think of other games that I've lost recently that I felt dumb during. This might be one.
Yeah, this will probably be the last one we do for now too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't remember if this is the game. Yeah, this looks like it. It's a stupid game, but I wanted to know what I could have done. Oh, what was that? That was called Antigua Shipyard.
리체가 저장되었습니다.
Alright, I'm loading it up.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. So you're gonna be hats first on this one, right?
I'm pretty sure. I might get blocked and then
Okay. So what's
super late pool and shit. But
so what's your normal, like, standard opening and like what your plan when you do ZVP?
VVP. On this map, I'd probably try to kill him with roaches, like max roaches at like 15 minutes.
Okay.
Usually.
Alright. Now, what's your backup plan? If that doesn't work.
I don't know. Like when I move out, I'll throw it on a spire and start going corruptor when I start losing roaches, trying to commit too hard to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if he's going Colossus, I can kill them. That's generally it. I don't really do much else. I sometimes go Ultralisk, but usually it's Broodlords after the Spire.
Okay, well, here's this little suggestion for if you keep doing that attack like the big roach all and you see you're throwing down a Spire anyways, how about instead, like just a little minor like tweak to the build, when you realize that you're going to be attacking or whatever, throw down an infestation pit earlier on, and then as soon as you start moving out, throw down a Spire and a hive. So then if that attack fails, or if it happens to fail, then you could already just right when you're done with it, your hive will pretty much be done, and then you could start up a greater Spire as soon as the hive's done, and then you could be getting Broodlords out a lot sooner. So then you could go into like Roachling Corruptor, which is actually a pretty weak build, but you could turn those Corruptors then into Broodlords, and Roachling, like Corruptor Broodlord, is actually pretty strong as long as you keep the Roaches and Lings underneath the Broodlords to keep them protected.
Yeah. I should have taken the third base here instead of...
Well, that's obnoxious what he did.
Yeah, but he did a bad job of that.
Yeah.
The way he lost his probe was stupid. He could have escaped, and he shouldn't have put his probe there.
Yeah, once you saw that he had a cannon, you should have just instantly gone for the third instead.
Yeah.
To me, you already have enough minerals. You've had enough minerals. You have enough minerals for 2 bases now. So you should have definitely just taken that third instead once you saw the pylon block. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah, that's right.
Because, yeah, now you're just really, really far behind. Because, I mean, you have a later pool, so you can't even do any aggression if you wanted to. You don't have as many workers because you lost, like, 1 or 2 to the cannon. So, yeah, he's already ahead in probes. And you don't even have an expansion up yet.
Yeah.
So now what you should do is, even though you're expanding late, you should still double expand either way right here.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget that when they expand, I have to expand again after 2.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Everyone forgets from time to time.
That's one thing I forget a lot, though. Yeah, it's really it's pretty important that I do that, though, right?
Yeah, my big thing is I'll forget sometimes to like expand early enough for going 3 base when he forward fast expands, and like I'll accidentally delay it to like 40. That actually makes a huge difference. That 10 food like timing. Because, I mean, StarCraft is a game of seconds. Those little tiny things make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Man, I'm really mad I lost this game. He's not using hotkeys at all. And you shouldn't wall off down there. You should wall off at your ramp.
Well, I mean, you can wall off here, but yeah, it's not as good. I would think seeing 3 cannons here is like extremely aggressive, like defensively, so he's probably just going to try to turtle up and do some big cheesy push. I would probably be thinking, like Void Rays are coming. Because he's not going to have much of a ground force to defend for a while. That's why he has all those cannons at the front.
I forgot to send the Overlord as soon as I should have.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's coming across. See, so I'm trying to get to the back of his base.
Yep. I've done that too, just forgetting about Overlords. That's why you should always have more than just one going out. Like, you should have sent one automatically, which you are now, to like his 3rd, anyways, just to keep that scouted out for if he's going to drop down another thing. And then it's not as bad for, like, you know, if you forget, because you can even, like, run it across the front then, and just kind of, like, hope that he doesn't have stalkers come out, but, like, run it between, like, his 3rd and his natural, and then into his main, since the other one's so far behind. You could actually at least get some scouting in that. And, oh, look, double Stargate! I read that one right.
So I think I run up and see the first Stargate, and I think I just throw down an Evo and 2 Queens. And Creep Doomers. That's all I did then. I didn't see the second Stargate.
Basically, what I would say is if you see a Stargate, almost a Fleet Beacon? That's weird. But, like, I would say if you see a Stargate, no matter what, automatically throw down an Evo and start up an additional Queen at each base.
Yeah.
And then, when the Evo finishes, throw down Ace 4 at each base, and then if you end up scouting that second Stargate eventually, throw down another one at each base, like 2 per base, and then if, like, you know, he's not showing for a long time, keep adding on one additional, like, every once in a while, add on more queens, because then you know if he's not showing, he is more than likely just building them up, and if he's not even building out of them, then you should just be completely safe anyways. But keep droning up the whole time. Because especially, like, if you sack an Overlord in, you should see if he has any additional gateways or not. And typically, if they're going 2 Stargate, they can't really support additional gateways. Like, look at his money. He can't build anything else besides Void Rays. Oh, or carriers. Whatever. That's weird. That's really weird. Nobody does this. So I don't feel too bad about losing this. One big thing, though, look at your drone count right now. That is a huge issue.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, now you're at 46, but you were just at 36 a second ago when I said that. And, like, 10 minutes into the game, only at 46 is really low for having that 3 hatches. Because they were so delayed, which made a huge difference. So imagine if they were properly timed, you'd probably be up around, like, 60 right now.
Oh, I've got, like, 18 larvae sitting right now.
Oh,
so
yeah, you do.
That's another thing.
Didn't notice that, yeah. So another thing is just make sure to spend the larva, especially when you're at 49 of 70.
Yeah, building Overlord is just not spending them.
That's another just like kind of crisis mode thing, is that you're thinking like, shit, he's going to be coming in with something. I really need to, you know, make some kind of defenses, think of what I'm going to do. You're not really thinking, I got to make drones, I got to make actual units, you know, stuff like that.
Well, this is going to be like Void Ray Phoenix.
Yep.
Like one Void Ray, one like 3 Phoenix. So it's like, okay, Queens and Creep. That's what I need, and I get them. And then there's 2 carriers in my base. And
yep.
Really
That's what normal people would do, though, is make Void Rays, not carriers. Gosh, this is a goofy game. I wouldn't even feel that bad losing to this. I mean, I would feel bad. I'd be like, I just fucking lost the carriers. But like, it's just so weird. You gotta just kind of like shrug it off, like I'm probably never gonna see this again.
Carrots aren't that bad.
No,
they're expensive and don't do that much.
But if
they're
they
okay
surprise you this quickly,
Yeah.
then they're really good. Because if Zerg doesn't have anti-air at this point in the game.
Like you can only do corruptors against them, and you need a lot of corruptors. Don't you?
Oh yeah. I've seen a lot of Zergs actually go mutas against them, but I find them to be way less cost effective than corruptors. Like, yeah, if you do survive, then you've got, you know, a bunch of mutas left over, but I think corruptors are the way to go.
So I'm just taking my sitting larva and turn them into roaches and see what I can do with them. But he's got so many cannons.
That's like all you could do at this point. Is like you're just gonna die, so you have to just try to all in him and just hope you win a base race. But yeah,
the cannons. I mean.
Cannons.
And he'll have 2 carriers at his base, and for some reason he pulls back.
Yeah, but on the positive note, your injects were much better this game, and you actually had creep spread going, which are 2 big things. Like, queen mechanics are always like the most important things about Zerg.
I think the creep spread was just because it's in the Stargate. I knew I needed to defend my 4th, my 3rd with.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think it was more for a reaction. Sometimes I don't spread creep at all.
Yeah, it's something that's really important is like spreading creep. Like even, let's say, ZVT. Getting an extra queen, just like 1 extra queen, even in ZVP, both matchups, there's 1 extra queen dedicated to spreading creep. The one matchup it doesn't matter is ZVZ, unless you're planning on being really aggressive with like Hydras, or really aggressive in general, but if you're playing passive, you don't want to really have any creep spread, because then it just, if you're playing defensive, all you're going to do is help them get to your base faster if they're being aggressive.
Yeah.
So really in ZVZ, the only thing I ever do is like connect my bases with creep. So like I'll just have like 1 creep tumor that I'll throw down early in the game and just move that 1 creep tumor around my bases, and like that's it. But yeah, ZVT really important to get creep spread. But your injects were good this game. Same with, I believe, the game before. Actually, he didn't really even have queens out when his attack came, I don't think. But yeah, definitely the fastest ways to like improve are just keep up those queen mechanics, which are like the most important things for Zerg to get down. I can't stress it enough.
Yeah.
Got to get down them those queen mechanics, and then, which I mean, you're honestly, I've seen much worse. I mean, you're not doing bad at all with it. It's just when you're under duress, distress, attack, whatever. When you're being attacked, it could just fall apart. But that's for like a lot of people that happens. But yeah, I mean, really, you had, I think, the right response against seeing double Stargate. It's just like carriers, which really the only way you're going to survive against that is if you would have like gone a quicker layer and got out a quick Spire and then got Corruptors. There's really no possible way you could have survived against that. At least I can't think of one.
No, not even. Hydras are bad, but you need. I think double Stargate. I get Hydras when I see double Stargate. Usually that works the best.
Yeah, Hydras actually work pretty well against double Stargate. But I mean, even against carriers, they get melted. They do like 0 damage before they die. I don't know but that's kind of what you have to do. But you also have to watch out for going Hydras, like. Because a lot of times, at least with single Stargate, they'll just go up to Colossus. So if you overmake Hydras, unless you like hit a sweet spot timing with them and just be able to kill them before any Colossus come out, you just lose the game.
Yeah, that's generally what I find. I haven't seen too many Stargate openings recently. It's mostly usually 4-gated a lot actually, but yeah, it's usually just FFE into like Robo, like. The passive robo builds where they don't really attack me super quick.
Yes, I would say the big things to work on is, like I said, the queen stuff, creep, spread, inject, stuff like that. Overlord positioning and spreading, like in ZVT and ZVP, making sure that you have an Overlord set up to sack into their base. Maybe 2, depending on where the positioning is on the map. I try to get 2, if possible. Make sure you get Overlords in ZVZ, going across all attack paths and like all expansions on the map, or having a Ling thrown down at every expansion, just so you can see when the expansion timing is coming for him. And then in like ZVT and ZVP, having Overlords placed at just like his 3rd, 4th, or a Ling in his 3rd and 4th, one of the 2, just so you can see when it's coming, and make sure to have the Xel'Nagas taken with Lings, because I mean, a Ling is 25 minerals, might as well have it thrown out there. Cheapest unit in the game to do it with.
Mass Thors. It's pretty rare, but usually when I see it, I find it really hard to kill, because the best thing against them is like Lings, and it takes a lot of Lings, and when there's a lot of Thors, they club together, and there's no good surface area.
Well, generally, if you're facing Mass Thors, that means they're going Mass Mech, which means they're also going to have tanks, and like Hellions.
Problem. Yeah.
Pretty much what you have to do is keep cost inefficiently throwing away like roaches at his army, keep going mutas. Because mutas in a huge number keep a magic box and they destroy all mech. Like, you'll like one-shot Thors. It's ridiculous. And then you go up into like Broodlords and Corruptors and like Roaches. I usually do Roach, Corrupt. I'm just not a big fan of like Broodlord, Infestor, Ling, because it's actually pretty hard to control if they have like good enough, like if they have good control, it's really hard to control.
Yeah, that's
So
definitely.
I personally like getting like Roaches to sit underneath, and then having like Corruptor Broodlord or like Corruptor Broodlord Muta, something like that. But really, I mean, you can do Banelings, but that's like banking on the fact that he's completely clumped up with his Thors. Because if he's not clumped up, then you're gonna do like 0 damage.
Yeah,
So
played a game yesterday where I would have lost, but he didn't expand very aggressively. So he had these super efficient armies that I just kept throwing away inefficient armies. But I had 5, 6 bases, and he had 3 bases.
And that's exactly what to do against mech. That's another thing. You have to keep expanding and exploit that he can't do anything. And like even like Muta harass, because he's probably only going to leave 1, maybe 2 Thors at each base and have turrets. So like if you have a high enough Muta count, you're going to one-shot turrets, you're going to like 2-shot Thors, you're going to be able to wreak havoc in his base. Like the other day I was doing that, like a mass Muta against it, and I actually killed his 3rd command center twice in the game. Because he just had no mobility to actually stop it. So it's just kind of making sure that you keep harassing and keeping down tank counts where possible. Because that's the big killer. Like, not really the Thors, but dealing with those tanks, man.
Yeah.
Alright, anything else?
Oh, man, thanks.
Alright, if you have any other questions, feel free to message me on Skype whenever. You know.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I'm always on. Alright, see you later.
Yeah.